will appear on the ballot. My name is Hillary Lind. I'm the Special Events Chair for DeKalb Dems, and on behalf of our organization, I welcome you to this important event. Tonight, we will hear from the candidates on where they stand on public safety, economic development, housing, and infrastructure, and more. We have lots of great questions that our team has prepared, and we hope to have enough time to take on some additional questions from the audience. We are streaming live on multiple platforms, and a recording of this forum will be available on our YouTube page. The DeKalb County Democratic Committee relies on donations and volunteers to present truthful information to the citizens of DeKalb County. To officially kick off our evening, it is my distinct honor to introduce the Vice Chair of DeKalb Dems, a tireless advocate for our community, Mr. Larry Lowe. Mr. Vice Chair, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Hillary. And welcome to the panelists and guests, and thank you all for attending. Municipal elections are where the rubber hits the road. So I want to thank everybody for attending and make sure that all of the attendees get educated as much as possible about municipal elections in their area. I want to give a special thank you to our special guest chair, Hillary Lind and Gloria Moore, who has been instrumental in planning for this forum. We are grateful for both of you. Thank you to Amy Farrow, Dr. Bola Tillman, Leona Perry, and the rest of the team for organizing this essential event for our community. We have a fantastic panel of guests with us tonight, and we are so grateful for their willingness to serve. Leading our conversation tonight is moderator Robin Byro. Robin is a decorated Army combat veteran and former candidate for U.S. Congress and a respected political commentator, frequently seen on national news. He brings us a deep firsthand knowledge of policy and a passion for public service to our forum this evening. Please join me in welcoming Robin Byro.
Thank you, Larry. I appreciate that. So first, we're going to explain the purpose and structure of a city council. This is just going to take a few minutes. Allow me to read this. The city council serves as the primary legislative body of a city, collectively responsible for setting policy, passing local laws, and adopting the city budget. Council members are the direct representatives of their constituents, working to address neighborhood concerns and ensure the effective delivery of city services. The council's leadership is critical in shaping the future of their city, from approving zoning for smart growth to funding the public safety departments that protect our communities. Tonight, candidates from Dorrville, Avondale Estates, and Stone Mountain are with us. Before we begin with our questions, a quick note on participation. A formal invitation has been expended to every candidate who qualified. You may notice that not all candidates with us, or that a candidate may arrive after we've begun. Campaigning is incredibly demanding, as we all know, and schedules can be unpredictable. To ensure that we have as much time as possible for our discussion, we'll be focusing on the candidates who are with us at any given moment, and we will not be stopping to acknowledge arrivals or departures. We thank every candidate for their commitment to this process. Before we begin, please let's review the ground rules that each candidate has agreed to in advance. I need you to pay close attention. Each candidate will have 90 seconds to make an opening statement. Each candidate will have 60 seconds to answer prepared questions and follow-up questions. Each candidate will have 60 seconds to answer audience questions. Each candidate will have 60 seconds to make a closing statement. You are to not call out other candidates by name. Focus only on issues and policies. You should have already pinned the timekeeper to the top of your screen. If anybody needs a refresher on that, let me know now. We will not be going over on time. With that being said, I would like to begin the candidate opening statements. So right now I'm going to introduce our candidates. Before we begin asking questions, we want each candidate to give the opportunity to introduce themselves to you. We will do this in alphabetical order, starting with the candidates for Avondale Estates. Mr. Vigil, in 90 seconds, please make your opening statement telling us what makes you uniquely qualified for this position.
Thank you, Robin. I'm actually in Stone Mountain, but I'll go ahead and begin. So thank you to DeKalb Dems, Hillary, and everyone else I may have missed for hosting us this evening. My name is Cordero Vigil, and I'm running for Stone Mountain City Council, post number 6. What uniquely qualifies me for this role is a new generational perspective towards stagnant matters that are hindering our city from moving forward. Unfortunately, our city, the city that I love, is in a holding pattern at this moment. We have so much potential in so many areas, whether it's business development or improvements, that just needs the right team, the right attitude, and the right teamwork to truly help our city progress. When I think about actionable steps towards true progress for our community, the overall conclusion to which I arrive for unlocking our potential is trying something new. And this includes trying new candidates that want to work for the people. We need someone that will be transparent, accountable, and visible for every resident in our jurisdiction, and I'm the person for the job. Thank you so much for tuning in today.
Thank you so much. I appreciate that. And these are the opening statements for everybody. This must have just been left in there. With that being said, Ms. Pennell Prusing, please give your opening statement in 90 seconds and tell us what makes you uniquely qualified for this position.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. And that was correct pronunciation. My name is Yvette Pennell Prusing, and I am running for Dorville City Council, District 2, Post 1. I've lived in Dorville since 2009. I've been a member of the Planning Commission for 5 years. 3 of those years have been serving as chair of the Planning Commission. I've helped the Planning Commission make recommendations to the mayor and city council regarding applications for such items as rezoning, text amendments, conditional use permits, and variances. I believe in encouraging smart growth by utilizing our comprehensive plan as our city evolves. I believe in fair and equitable housing and the strength of our diversity and supporting our seniors, the library, and the arts. I also believe in the need for transparency between government officials and those that they serve, in using resources wisely, and to do my best to protect and improve the world around me. And as a member of the Dorville City Council, I promise to uphold these values and continue to learn from our amazing neighbors all across the city. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Mr. Monroe, in 90 seconds, please make your opening statement.
I'm sorry, could not hear any sound until just now. Could
Okay.
you repeat the question?
Yes, absolutely. Mr. Monroe, in 90 seconds, please make your opening statement telling us what makes you uniquely qualified for this position.
Thank you very much for that question. I have been in my career a senior financial analyst, and in that role, I have used what I call quantitative information for decision making. Right now, we're flying blind much of the time because we don't have reliable information and data based that we can use to make a qualified decision on. When we do the annual state of the city, we basically have numbers that are not based on valid data. And because of that, for instance, our 2023 audit, we're basing it on information that is not reliable because it hasn't really been tested yet. If we focused on how the money was used and where we are as in a budget session, we can make more valid decisions. I care very much about the city of Stone Mountain. We all do because we live here. It's where I made my home, and I think it's a good idea to use the information we have wisely. The SPLOS funds will be accounted for and used for the people, not misappropriated. I will vote to return green space to the citizens instead of real estate interests to develop the city wisely so it benefits everyone, not just a greedy few. And I'll vote to reduce your tax.
Thank you. You're out of time.
Thank you.
Ms. Vaughn, in 90 seconds, please make your opening statement telling us what makes you uniquely qualified for this position.
Yes, good evening.
Okay.
My name's Elaine Vaughn, and Stone Mountain is my home. My family has lived in Shermantown for over 6 generations. I believe in preserving our past and creating a space for today while ensuring that there is more committed tomorrow. I'm running because I have the love and the heart for this city. I want us to move forward. I believe leadership is about more than just holding a title. For me, it is. It's about showing up for your community. I'm not running to build a resume. I am focused and always will be on listening and bridging the community together. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Vaughn. Councilwoman Bryant, in 90 seconds, please make your opening statement telling us what makes you uniquely qualified for this position.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Sharnette Bryant, and this would be my third term running for City Council, which I definitely enjoy at all times. I've been living in the city over 30 years, and I am a first-time grandmother. So, of course, I definitely want to make sure that the city is safe and it's a clean city so I can go ahead and bring them to the parks that we have started renovating as well. Um, Being a city councilwoman, communication is the key. I work for a communication company, and I've been working for this company for over 30 years. So communication plays a big part when you are a city council woman or a city council member. You're always going to run into people on the street, and that's what I do. When I'm on my way home, if I see somebody in the street, I'm going to stop and talk to them, see what's going on with them, see what problems they have. And if I can go ahead and assist them, I definitely will. And that's what makes me uniquely to running again for my seat. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Bryant. Councilman Henshaw, in 90 seconds, please make your opening statement telling us what makes you uniquely qualified for this position.
Hello, everyone. I'm Chris Henshaw. I've had the pleasure of serving on Doraville City Council for the past 6 years. I moved to Doraville in late 2011 as a single guy, but now I'm a husband and a dad and a local small business owner, and I'm really looking forward to one last term on council should I be reelected. With 4 additional years in office, I can help keep Doraville on the path that the current council has built for the city. Along with massive redevelopments at the old Assembly Motors and Kmart sites, Doraville has just started a $250 million downtown redevelopment project that I'd really like to be able to help cross the finish line. My 25 years experience as a practicing architect has greatly helped guide Doraville's growth. I've helped decrease taxes while increasing business investments within the city. We've repaved roads, built new sidewalks, improved our parks, repaired our stormwater infrastructure, and more. We've worked with DeKalb County to bring a new middle school and high school to our city, opening in 2027. The current council has a great working relationship with each other and our staff, and I've just started my year-long studies within the 2026 class of Leadership DeKalb, which will help me become an even more effective leader within Doraville and the greater DeKalb area. I also serve on our URA, advise the DDA, and work with our local Chambly-Doraville CID to foster large-scale projects that benefit both Doraville and Chambly. I've learned so much over the past 6 years and feel that the next 4 would be incredibly fruitful for the city and its residents and businesses. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Councilman Simmons, in 90 seconds, please make your opening statement telling us what makes you uniquely qualified for this position.
Thank you. Good evening. My name is Warren Simmons, running for Doraville District 1, Post 3. Just want to thank the DeKalb Dems for putting this on, Hillary, and everyone for making this happen. Greatly appreciate it. As Councilmember Henshaw said, sounds like he took a lot of words right out of my mouth. But anyway, with our downtown development we got going on, my day job's a general contractor, so working on the downtown is right up my alley, and I think I'm a good asset to help guide the city towards an efficient and cost-effective build for the downtown development. Also, what we've done in the past 3 years since I've been council has actually shown through all the growth here in Doraville. And as Councilmember Henshaw said, we have reduced taxes and have found ways to help fund city projects without putting the cost and burden on our Doraville residents. So I'd like to give them 4 more years to help pushing the city towards smart growth and towards our end goal of what we set out to do. So thank you.
Thank you, Councilman. Do I see Mr. Jordan in here?
Yes, I'm here.
Okay, terrific. Mr. Jordan, in 90 seconds, please make your opening statement telling us what makes you uniquely qualified for this position.
Well, thank you to DeKalb Dems for hosting this forum, and also thanks to the other candidates, and especially the viewers. This is a good opportunity to become an informed voter. My name is Hubert Jordan, but people call me Hub. I'm running for Stone Mountain Post 5. I was born and raised in Stone Mountain. I learned to swim and play baseball at McCurdy Park, and I also attended the Stone Mill Elementary and the First Baptist Church. After graduating high school, I attended Vanderbilt University on a football scholarship and upon graduation, I served 5 years as an Atlanta police officer. I then served 22 years as a federal agent in Miami and Macon. I retired in 2018. In 2020, me and my wife, who was also from Stone Mountain and was a grade ER nurse, moved back home to Stone Mountain. Having spent my working life in public service, I was eager to serve my hometown. I've spent the last 5 years getting to know our great people and have made many new friends. It became apparent to me that the best way that I could serve and protect my hometown was to run for city council. My top priorities are my top priorities, TIP, which are taxpayers and their tax dollars, infrastructure, and public safety. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Before I move on, have any candidates joined that I'm not aware of? Did I leave anyone off?
No.
Okay, moving on. You all made it through opening statements. Thank you, candidates, for respecting our time limitations. And now let's get right into the questions. Again, please limit your responses to 90 seconds. I will read each question only once. If you need the question repeated, please let me know. The first one will be about constituent advocacy and city services. So I will start with Councilman Simmons. When a resident's issue with a city department hits a bureaucratic wall, what is your specific process for acting as their advocate to get a timely and effective response? Does anybody need this question repeated? All right, Mr. Simmons. Councilman Simmons.
Thank you for the question. Great question. So we are a council manager form of government here in Doraville. So I cannot directly go to the directors of each department, but I would go directly to the city manager and explain the situation to the city manager. And I would then ask if we could have the department head give their side of the story. I would then listen and see if we can help expedite the resident's request within reason. I would then go back to the resident and explain what is going on and the process involved that everything must go through. I would stay in constant communication with the resident and the city manager until the issue is resolved. So that would be my process, is just constant communication, go to the city manager, hear both sides of the story, try to find a reasonable solution to help expedite it as long as it doesn't cut through our process as a city, and just make sure everyone's happy. Thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Pennell Prusing.
Thank you so much. Again, also from Dorville, as Councilmember Simmons said, speaking with the city manager, ensuring that the communications are going to the right people within the right department, and following up with the residents to making sure that they're being responded to in a timely manner. And then also, things happen. Sometimes you're waiting on Georgia Power or Watershed, which can take a lot longer, but making sure the residents are aware that there is a delay there. And it all boils down to communications between the right people. Thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Vaughn.
Yes. When people in our community run into a roadblock in our city, I see my role as helping them cut through the red tape. I've been around long enough to know how the system works, who to call, and how to follow the paper trail. Sometimes people just need a little more understanding of the process. They need someone to walk with them through this process so their voices don't get lost. I can sit with them. I can make sure their request is documented and follow up until they get an answer. That's what advocacy looks like to me, bringing steady persistence and making sure no one is ignored. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Vaughn. Moving on, Mr. Monroe. Mr. Monroe, I believe you're muted.
Okay, thank you. The question of how constituents will get to the right party. I've been in government long enough. I was councilman from 2020 to 2024 last year. And I know how the government works, and I know who to call. I simply pick up the phone, talk to either the city manager, or I tell the resident who to contact inside city government. In this particular case, it happened to be an issue of code enforcement. And once they had the proper name to contact, code enforcement officer came out there and resolved the problem within 10 days. This is simply a case of the resident didn't know who to call, so I put them in touch with the right people.
Thank you very much. Mr. Vigil.
Thank you so much, Robin. So I'll say I don't know anyone that wants to hear the word no when it comes to something very important to them, especially when it impedes their livelihood. I believe in using all of our available resources to help our constituents, thus needing to explore every avenue possible when bureaucracy may get in the way. As city council persons in Stone Mountain, we're indirect managers of the citizens and not supposed to interfere with the city manager's leadership with the direction of city staff. However, we are also here to be a voice for each resident, especially when they don't feel heard. This is the time that we partner with city management to find ways to arrive to an amenable solution that works for residents and the city without impeding our residents' livelihood. Let's be creative while also following the law. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilman Henshaw.
Thank you. In most cases where a resident has had an issue with a city or a county bureaucratic wall, I would refer them directly to the city manager's office, who would then best be able to either handle the situation directly or is in the position to be able to refer them to the correct person or department. This is not the case with police or court-related matters, as council members can have no influence on any active or pending cases. In these matters, I would simply ask them to call the police non-emergency number or the court's phone line. In a few instances in the past, I've worked directly to advocate for residents, like an instance where the resident was having erosion issues with a stream at the rear of their property. It wasn't making any headway with the county. Dozens of emails and calls were exchanged with the city and county agencies to attempt to help them with their issues. Consistent follow-ups are often necessary when dealing with cross-government issues. Government moves slowly for a reason, and it can be frustrating, but persistence usually pays off. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Mr. Jordan.
The first thing I would do is be available, have face-to-face conversations at City Hall, city events, and just out and about. I would provide and respond to emails within 24 to 48 hours. Be knowledgeable of our different city departments, how they operate, and I'd also master our website so that I can direct somebody specifically to a page or to that document that they're looking for or the instructions they need to follow to help solve their problems. During my 27 years as an investigator, I've learned how to gather, process, and communicate information to solve many types of problems. I will follow up and follow through with the individuals so that they know they have been heard and that their issue is my issue.
Excellent. Thank you, Mr. Jordan. Councilwoman Bryant.
Thank you so much. Just had this happen to me just last week. I reached out to the city manager, let her know what was going on in the subdivision. She accepted what I said. I wrote it up in an email and explained to her, this is what's going on. She's going to go ahead and move forward with that. One thing you don't want to do, you don't want to go back and forth with the residents because that's when a problem comes and rise. So you definitely want to go ahead, let the citizen know this information will be moved over to the city manager. The city manager will go ahead and take care of you, and therefore that'll take you out of whatever is going on with that incident.
Thank you very much. That should be everybody unless there have been any additions. Otherwise, I'll move on. We're moving on to the question of public safety. This question, pay attention, please. Beyond policing, what community-based initiatives or services would you support to address the root causes of crime? We will start with Councilman Henshaw.
This is a massively difficult question, and while there are small steps that cities can take to help with this issue, a much more systemic approach at the federal and state levels is really required to tackle the root causes of crime. Most experts agree that root causes of crime in America stem from economic hardship, breakdown of support structures, as well as individual factors like substance abuse and psychological issues. A city as small as Doraville is ill-equipped and ill-funded to tackle these issues alone. That being said, I believe that the broken window theory approach is a good one. By quickly addressing smaller issues like broken windows on homes, rampant graffiti, etc., we can help prevent the escalation of more significant criminal activities. When combined with good community policing and effective code enforcement, many small measures can have larger positive effect on crime. Though this does little to tackle the actual root causes of crime, which again need to be tackled on a state and federal scale, please reach out to your state and federal representatives to find out what you can do to support these large-scale projects. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilman. Ms. Vaughn.
Yes. When I think about crime in Stone Mountain, I think about prevention first. I was blessed to have known our first African American chief of police, James Rivers, the late James Rivers, as well as our second African American chief of police, Chauncey Trumpman. Now they knew and they understood what it was for public safety to be built on trust and connections. And with our current chief, James Westerfield, I believe that some of that knowledge has trickled down. I do know that we all have crime. Stone Mountain is not as bad as other places, but if we can launch a community safety program where the residents can join in with the faith leaders, our workforce leaders, the community, the resident, and join in hand. Find something, a program for the children to do, a mentoring program. We used to have summer camps back in the days. I think something like this will help bring the officers and the community together so that the community would know this is a policeman, but this is my.
Moving on, Mr. Vigil.
Thank you. All right, so I'm a believer and champion of restorative justice, which by definition focuses on repairing harm caused by crime or conflict by addressing the needs of all parties involved, whether it's victim, offenders, and communities, through dialogue and shared responsibility. So with that said, I don't believe in just being punitive. Nobody wants to be punished. I would love to avoid that altogether. One idea I have, among many, is creating youth programs in our city to combat the root cause of some of the crime that we experience. I have to give credit to a few residents that I've spoken with over the last few weeks while I've campaigned, because they are concerned about this matter also and believe, just like me, that putting this type of effort towards this kind of care would definitely be healing for our community. And as a DeKalb County Court-appointed special advocate myself, I would love to see this for our youth. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Councilwoman Bryant.
Okay, let me unmute. Okay. Am I unmuted?
Yeah, you're good.
Okay, all right. Thank you so much. Crime is everywhere. I would say living here in the city of Stone Mountain, it has not been as bad as other cities that's dealing with crime. The way I would deal with it, I would reach out to the city manager and also talk to the chief and see exactly what can we do to go ahead and kind of prevent some of this crime. Find something for the youth to do. We don't have many programs out here at this time, but if we can get a youth program started, give them something to do. Because the out of mind is not good for some of the people that's here in the city. But that would be the first thing that I would start. I would start with the city manager and also talk to the chief of police and see exactly where we can go with this.
Thank you, Councilwoman. Mr. Jordan.
When analyzing the roots of crime, I think there is a difference between adult and juvenile crime. Adult crime involves the heart and mind. Juvenile crime often involves time and how they spend it. I propose that in addition to going into the schools, the 2 schools we have in our city, we concentrate our efforts as a village to an after-school program involving our village people, businesses, and government. An after-school program does not have the time, place, and content restrictions that volunteering for inside a school has. Stone Mountain citizens have many talents and passions. Let us use these talents and passions towards the kids and teach them to garden at the community center, knock down and rebuild walls at the handyman school, take care of and rescue pets at ARF, go to Medlock Park and pick up trash, then play basketball, go to City Hall and learn about government and the history of our city, warts and all, then go climb a mountain. We can own this program and make it what we want. That will be time well spent.
Thank you, Mr. Jordan. Councilman Simmons.
Thank you. I feel that community engagement and involvement helps build community and prevent crime. With that being said, I would try to hold more community engagement events and help with education in the elementary schools and within the community. The best way to help influence crime prevention is to educate the youth and have after-school programs that help keep children involved in something positive and out of trouble. Also, having the police involved within the elementary school level and early age will help also. When children see police throughout their whole life, they don't feel as threatened by them when seen at a later age. So promote more programs in your Parks and Rec department. That helps and goes a long way. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilman. Ms. Pennell Prusing.
All right, thank you. I am happy to support community-based programs to help any residents that might need assistance. I mean, that can be anything from counseling to substance abuse. Even just putting food on the table can help stop crime. And Dorville has done a lot with different food banks in the area. We share a mental health co-responder officer with neighboring cities just as a start. I'm willing to do anything that is needed to help support residents in the city. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Mr. Monroe.
I believe that the root causes of most crime is either, for youth crime, I'd separate them. It's mostly idle hands. Idle hands are the devil's workshop. We need after-school programs so that between 3 and 5 or 3 and 6 p.m., the kids have a place to go where they're supervised and can get involved with extracurricular activities. The fire department and the police department both have programs that will help deal with this in the schools. For adult crime, most of the issues are involving greed. They just like the money and they figure they can take someone else's. And the other is they just want to feel like they're some people like bullies. We had one in our neighborhood, and this gentleman will certainly be arrested in the very near future because he was involved with drugs right here, a few blocks away. It's all over the city. And we need to do more community policing and less what I call the warrior mentality of the police, who just want to make sure that their thumb is, they're in control. That's not the model that we want here in Stone Mountain. We want community policing where there's trust built between the community and the police department so they can, if they see something, they can say something.
Thank you. I'd like to congratulate everybody for sticking to time. I just want to make sure I didn't leave anybody out with any latecomers. Otherwise, I'll move on. All right, moving on to property taxes. As property assessments in DeKalb have skyrocketed, homeowners are feeling the strain. What is your stance on rolling back your city's millage rate to the no tax increase rate? And how do you balance the need for city revenue with providing relief to taxpayers? We will begin with Ms. Pennell Prusing.
The goal is to always lower taxes without taking away benefits from the residents. We've got things like park maintenance, public works, which, they help install sidewalks, fix potholes, drive a leaf truck. Our police department is part of that, but it only accounts for 20% of the taxes the Dorville residents are paying. The rest is the county itself. And Dorville has done a really good job of decreasing the millage rate over the past several years. They also offer the homestead exemption, which lowers it by 2.5 mils, and the senior tax exemption for those over 70, which is 100%. So I think step by step, we can continue to lower it, but still maintain what our residents have come to expect. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Mr. Monroe. Mr. Monroe, you're muted, sir.
How's that? Right now,
Gotcha.
our millage rate is 15.87%. For the very first time in the last 10 years, we actually moved it down to the rollback rate. We've slowed down the rate of increase. When I started on city council, the millage rate was 20 mills. Now it's down to just over 16, or just under 16. I think the millage rate should be adjusted down even further. We could balance our budget quite carefully by simply having the millage rate at 15 mills. It doesn't have to be any higher in order to get the revenue that we need in order to run our city government. But the city government right now tends to be a little bit bloated, and the council has, for too long a period of time, considered high enough millage rates so that their hands are in the people's pockets constantly. We don't need that. Who's a better judge of how to spend your money, you or the city council? We really need to lower the millage rate even further and still balance our budget just by tightening our belt. Everyone does that on the personal budget. We can do it for the city also.
Thank you, Mr. Monroe. Mr. Vigil.
Thank you so much, Robin. I am definitely in support of rolling back our millage rate, especially based on conversations I've had with residents about taxes and rising inflation in Stone Mountain. However, with that said, we need to diversify our city's income. Unfortunately, our city is solely surviving on property taxes at this moment. One of my priorities is business development. We can definitely work on lowering property taxes if we aren't solely reliant on them as income, and if we attract more businesses that will pay their fair share as a partner, ultimately remaining in our community for the foreseeable future. This has definitely been done in the past, with Alpharetta being one of the prime examples that come to my mind with this process, cutting their rates almost in half. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Vigil. Councilwoman Bryant.
This is one of my favorite subjects. Being on council for the past 2 terms, it has been a struggle to try to come together with the other council members to lower the millage rate. Clint Monroe was correct. Over 8 years ago, we had the highest millage rate in the county. And we only have 6,800 people here. So we was attacking a lot of the residents with their taxes going up. They're complaining this year as well. Even though we was able to go ahead and lower the millage rate this year, it's still high because you still have a lot of grandparents that's raising their kids and they're on a fixed income and they don't have extra money where they can go ahead and purchase food or buy things for the kids. So we have to find a way to go ahead and keep that millage rate at what it is now, which is 15.87. We have to be careful too. We can't go any lower because if we do, we have to make sure that we are taking care of everybody else. The police department, the police department, and also the government. So let me go ahead and stop right there. I'm
Thank you so much. Thank you,
you.
Councilwoman. Mr. Jordan.
As we all know, our taxes are too high, both county and city taxes. Stone Mountain has the highest tax rate in the county. One of my college majors was in mathematics. I believe that a way to ease our citizen tax burden is a matter of addition and subtraction. We need to add revenue streams to include more taxpayers via responsible housing growth within our limited available land. Businesses such as a hotel and usable retail, tourism dollars, government and nonprofit grants are all on the table. We need to subtract wasteful spending, misappropriated funds, and possibly the size of our government. It has been discussed but needs to be implemented that our fiscal year needs to begin in June in order that our millage rate can be set based upon our current tax estimates. We need to set this with appropriate numbers so that if we can lower the tax rate, we can do it for all. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Councilman Henshaw.
Thank you. In my 6 years on council, I've helped to lower our millage rate from 10 mils to 9 mils, as well as increase our homestead exemptions to an additional 2.5 mil deduction, making taxes for homeowners 6.5 mils. Doraville also continues to offer an amazing 100% tax abatement for seniors over 70. It's important to remember that just 20% of a Doraville resident's tax bill goes to the city, with the rest going to the county and state. Just last week, we started the demolition of our old city services building as we undergo a $250 million downtown transformation. So this past year, we decided not to roll back the tax rate as we will need the funds for our city's redevelopment. We also annexed in a large new area of unincorporated DeKalb County, which was greatly lagging behind due to mismanagement at the county level. We will be leveraging a significant portion of our taxes towards road repairs, stormwater management, and other shortfalls in this new portion of our city. Once our city center is completed, I would love to not only roll back our taxes to the no tax increase rate, I'd like to drop it down to 8 mils or lower. Large-scale new investments like our downtown redevelopment will bring a large influx of new tax revenue, helping offset the tax burden on the current residents and businesses so we can lower taxes across the board for everyone. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilman. Councilman Simmons.
Thank you. So yeah, no one wants to increase taxes, even if your mill rate stays the same. Obviously, if your mill rate stays the same and your taxes increase, it means your city's growing in the right direction and your property values increasing, which means more money in your pocket. But rolling back the mill rate is situational. Right now, Doraville is building a whole new downtown, and we need to make sure we're funded for the downtown. So even though we have been reducing our mill rate for the past 3 years, we didn't roll it back this year because of this situation. But what we did do and have done is give our residents a homestead exemption, which reduces your mill rate 2.5 mils, as you've heard. So in a sense, it does roll back their mill rate to a rate lower than the rollback rate. We also give our seniors, as you heard, over 70, 100% city tax exemption. And we all know that the majority of taxes that we pay goes to the schools in the county, and we as a city have no control over that. So thank you.
Thank you, Councilman. Ms. Vaughn.
Yes, I know how hard it is for people that work to try to keep their homes, especially our seniors who's on fixed income. I'm one of those seniors. The millage rate sounds good, but we also have to look at what services the city can still provide if we do that. I support being careful with every dollar, making sure waste is cut out first. If it's a balance, the budget without putting extra burden on the homeowners, then I will stand for no tax increase. But we will always be honest with the people about what it means for our services, because promises are easy, but results takes planning. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Vaughn. That concludes our question on property taxes. We will be moving on, unless there are any late attendees, to city-specific issues. We will begin with Stone Mountain candidates. Stone Mountain government has experienced significant public conflict. What is one specific policy you would champion to restore public trust and ensure ethical, transparent governance moving forward? We will start. Is Ms. Walls in attendance? Leave. Okay. Mr. Vigil.
All right, thanks, Robin. So my platform is transparency, visibility, and accountability. So with those tenets in mind, I'd like to produce a report addressing the concerns our constituents have regarding money management beyond routine line item readings in our city council meetings to ensure there is a true understanding of where our money is going. With this report, I'd also like to put a lot of questions to rest regarding certain payments that have gone out where there are current questions, like our SPLOST funds. And one major item I'd like to review and update is the control of our city bank account. I want to ensure we have specific controls in place to prevent any controversial changes in the future for our constituents' money. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Vigil. Councilwoman Bryant.
Thank you so much. It's a lot going on here in the city at this time. We are spending money like the citizens have ATM on their foreheads. We're not doing a lot like we should. We should be focusing in the subdivisions, putting up sidewalks. We should also be focusing on the storm drains, cleaning out our storm drains that's needing to be taken care of. And also our streets. Our streets definitely need to be taken care of because we have quite a few potholes. We also need to go ahead and focus on installing traffic calmings. We have a lot of traffic in Stone Mountain, especially when it's traffic or accidents over there off of Memorial Drive. They reroute down into the subdivision, and they also come into the subdivision where it's more traffic there when it shouldn't be. And they also go ahead and have box trucks, big trucks, it doesn't matter. So we definitely need to focus on our infrastructure moving forward. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilwoman. Mr. Monroe.
Right now, we have a big problem with the infrastructure in our city. Stormwater runs off and starts flooding downtown businesses. The sewers overflow and spill out onto the street every time there's a heavy rain. We need to pay more attention to the infrastructure in our city, and especially in areas that not just downtown, because we have a very big city. The outer areas of the city have been neglected for 30 years. Right now, in the Mountain View area, we have streets and potholes that have not been taken care of or addressed for 30 years. They're just now getting around to the list based on the list we came up as a priority 2 years ago when I was still on council. We need to pay more attention to the city's infrastructure. Otherwise, the crushed infrastructure just below the city streets, with heavy trucks coming through over 100,000 pounds, will smash it. It's easy to say that we should have development, but without the infrastructure to support that, we're just adding burden on top of our current overutilized capacity. We need to spend more time working with the infrastructure and making sure that these citizens' needs are being addressed.
Thank you, Mr. Monroe. Ms. Vaughn.
Yes. What one policy I would use to ensure the ethic transparency? This policy I would push is simple. Open books and clear rules. Every contract, every dollar spent should be visible in the public to see online or in reports that people can understand. I also want a stronger ethic training for the council members with penalties if those standards are broken. Transparency builds trust, and trust is what our city government has been missing. I believe if you can explain your vote or your spending to the people in plain words, then you shouldn't be making that decision. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Vaughn. Mr. Jordan.
The conflict and dysfunction of our current city government is one of the primary reasons that I'm here tonight and running for city council. I've been to these city council meetings where order, rules of conduct, civility, the agenda, and respect for citizens' time have been discarded or ignored. Recently, we have hired a new city attorney. Our new city attorney has brought an understanding of procedure. She comes prepared by knowing the agenda. She also asserts herself into the meetings when needed to bring order if members are out of order or off topic. This demonstrates to me that it's not a new policy that is going to change our dysfunction, but rather a change in leadership. That will be the key to our government becoming highly functional, efficient, and respectful of each other and our citizens. On November 4th, we will have that opportunity to make these leadership changes. If I was allowed to name you, I would name you my fellow council members or council candidates. But November 4th, please vote. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Jordan. We will be moving on to our Doraville candidates. A major priority for Doraville is managing development along the Buford Highway and I-285 corridors. What is your vision for this growth, and how will you ensure it benefits long-term residents and does not lead to displacement? First up, we have Ms. Pennell Prusing.
Absolutely. Thank you. I fully believe in smart growth and following the vision that the comprehensive plan sets forward, especially when it comes to zoning. You know, Doraville's known for our diverse culture and our restaurants. We have 4 Michelin recommended restaurants right here in our tiny little city. So we need to ensure that the city isn't stagnant in its growth, but we're not displacing anybody. And we need to strive to make it better for residents and small businesses alike. And I do believe that if we do it smart and follow the comprehensive plan, we can achieve that. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Councilman Simmons.
Thank you. So we've already done a comp plan and rezoning plan that is helping the future development of Buford Highway. We have rezoned the businesses along Buford Highway to T5, which bumps up all buildings up to the street frontage, puts parking in the rear, reduces the amount of curb cuts, and helps alleviate the amount of traffic coming in and out of the businesses on the highway. We've also advocated against Georgia DOT installing an exit ramp from the new toll lane that they're trying to build along the upper end of 285, dumping into Doraville's downtown in our R1 neighborhood. We've gotten grants for improvements to pedestrian safety, lighting, and crosswalks, which help our local businesses and pedestrian safety. We've also required wide sidewalks to be installed for future developments. And then I'm part of the Chamblee-Doraville CID, and we actively are working and looking at ways to make Buford Highway safer. So we're actually in the talks right now with Georgia DOT to help with road diets and other traffic calming measures. And we're starting to talk with Georgia DOT on seeing if we can acquire our section of Buford Highway from them to make our own improvements, since the road is owned by Georgia DOT. So having the correct zoning and making Buford Highway more walkable will help our businesses in the long run. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilman. Mr. Henshaw.
Warren, I think you read my script and redid it. I consider the Buhai corridor to be Doraville's greatest asset, and along with the current council, we are working hard to maintain existing business synergies along the corridor while positioning Buhai for future growth. Many of the shopping centers are wonderful and vibrant places full of active businesses, which only need a gentle guiding hand when it comes to issues like facade maintenance and improving stormwater measures. Other centers are in great disrepair and sit nearly empty. These are areas that are ready for a rebirth. We've worked with our planning staff to follow our comprehensive plan while reworking our development codes to allow for new shopping centers and mixed-use developments, which will help bring new businesses to our city while also providing new homes for existing businesses should they wish to grow. I'm also actively working on a novel approach to improving pedestrian safety and traffic flow along the Buhai corridor by working with the Chamblee-Doraville CID board members to put a plan in place for both Doraville and Chamblee to be able to acquire Buford Highway from GDOT, so that we can reshape the road from its dangerous and overly wide roads, 7 lanes in some spots, and at 200% over capacity, so that we can build wider and safer sidewalks, new mid-block crossings, bike lanes, and return a tree canopy to the road system. If successful, this will greatly benefit all existing businesses and help make our community safer at the same time.
Thank you, Councilman. That should conclude that question for the Doraville candidates, unless we have any latecomers. All right, I will be moving on to Avondale Estates candidates. The city's development on College Avenue has brought debate over transparency and costs. What specific action will you take to ensure future development reflects community character, not just the developer's bottom line? Do we have any Avondale Estates specific candidates?
No, he didn't join us this evening.
All right. Okay. That's what I thought. I thought he RSVP'd late. All right. We will now be moving to our audience candidate questions. I'm going to take 3 to 5 audience questions. They've been pre-selected. You will have 60 seconds to answer each of these questions. The first one is regarding civility, very important in these times. As the toxicity of national politics trickles down, what is your specific strategy for lowering the temperature and fostering respectful public discourse at the local city council meeting level? We will be asking Mr. Vigil to answer this question first.
All right, thanks, Robin. Okay, so as a public servant, I think we have to remember our role. We work for the people. With that said, I believe in pushing ego aside and simply just listening to our citizenry, our citizens. We're not always going to have calm moments, especially when it comes to individual challenges a resident may face. However, passion doesn't equate to disrespect. And I don't believe disrespect has a place in our meetings, especially if we're giving it to our colleagues and residents. Thus, I think engaging in active listening is truly key to this process to avoid any unnecessary conflict. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Councilman Henshaw.
Thank you. It's so unfortunate that we are living in such a politically charged climate. Doraville has passed anti-discrimination ordinances that are applied throughout the city. As a council member, I also work hard to support our city's staff and employees in their mission to make Doraville a great place to live and do business. The current council has great respect for one another, and our civility and willingness to work together, despite sometimes disagreeing on individual issues, helps set a very positive tone during our meetings. We choose to allow public comment at the beginning of our meetings, but ask that people deliver their messages in as civil of a manner as possible. Cooler heads will always prevail in difficult situations, and while sometimes we get a resident who chooses to grandstand during their 3 minutes of public comment, it's important to remember that our country's Constitution guarantees free speech under the First Amendment. We, of course, do not allow direct physical threats to be leveled at anyone during meetings, and we always have an officer present at the meetings in case they are needed to de-escalate a situation. I'm proud to say that in my 6 years on council, we have not had to use those measures even once. Above all, I believe that facts and truth-finding will generally prevail over emotions once heads are allowed to cool. I may not always agree with residents, but I will always listen to their side of any given issue. Being accessible outside of council meetings also allows residents to voice concerns without the pressure of standing at the dais. These casual conversations are often easier on all parties involved. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilman. Mr. Monroe.
Okay, I'm unmuted. I appreciate this question. Right now in our city government in Stone Mountain, and this is the main reason I'm running for a seat on council, the level of civility has turned into a circus in Stone Mountain Council meetings. There's disrespect shown the chair. There's disrespect shown to council members by other council members, and this really needs to stop. There's the Gospel of St. Matthew that says, if you can put yourself in someone else's shoes and listen to what they have to say in a respectful manner, you can reach some sort of understanding. We have 2 ears and 1 mouth for a reason. We should listen twice as much as we're running our mouths. Without civility and without communication that is clear among individuals at City Council, we are not going to progress. We need to talk to each other as if we can put ourselves and empathize with someone else. And if we don't do that, we're just going to have a shouting match, which is not what we need at City Council. I'm running to restore civility and accountability and responsibility to city government. That's why I'm coming out of retirement and getting back into this particular arena. We need to have the civility and respect that everyone is entitled to. And that's about it.
Thank you, Mr. Monroe. Mr. Jordan.
To have civility as an elected official, you need to be civic-minded, meaning you need to understand that as an elected official, you are responsible to the city and citizens as a whole, and not just a small group of citizens or only one neighborhood. You also need to understand that almost all national issues are not city issues. On the national level, people seem to easily name call or put people down if they don't agree with them, because they don't have to do daily life with them. But on the local level, especially in such a small town as Stone Mountain, if you do this, you're doing it to your neighbor. This can easily lead to division within our small town, which translates into slowed or no progress at all. In some instances, we need to agree to disagree, and as council member, vote on issues based on facts, knowledge, and what's best for the city and its residents. The best advice I've found comes from the Bible. Romans 12:18 states, as far as it depends on you, live at peace with everyone. And that's what I intend to do. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Jordan. Ms. Pernell Prusing.
Thank you. I think that our current council does an absolutely fantastic job of being civil to each other. Respect is the foundation of good governance, and respect goes both ways. You know, difference of opinions are natural, and everybody should approach everyone else with open minds and speak with courtesy, treat everyone with dignity and respect, and as council members, agree to disagree. It happens, but as long as you're respectful about it, again, I think Dorville's done a really good job. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Ms. Vaughn.
Yes. Council meetings should be a model of transparency and respect. I support making meetings more accessible to the resident, but respect should be used both ways, from the residents that are speaking as well as the council members that sits on that bench. We need to take our personal attitudes, behavior, whatever, out before we come to these meetings and concentrate mainly on what's good for the citizens, what our citizens need help with. So respect for me is a 360 circle. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Vaughn. Councilman Simmons.
Thank you. So we leave politics out of our meetings. We come from all walks of life, but we're all the same, humans with love for our city. With that being said, we lead by example, act civil, and they will follow. If you need to see how to be civil while running a city government, then come to Dorville and see how it's done. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Councilwoman Bryant.
Civility. That's a big word. GMA always have training for the city government every year in Savannah. That class was put on the schedule, so I had an opportunity to go ahead and take that class. And I was excited when I got out of that class and come back and try to apply it to our council meeting, but it's not happening. Our council meeting, we are the leaders and we should be more respectful to each other. And that is not happening. And I'm hoping in the future that we can make a change where we'll be more respectful to each other. We say we are the leaders in the city, but are we? Are we doing the right things for the people? Are we doing the right things toward each other? And it's not happening. So respect goes a long way. And I'm hoping in the future that we pay attention how we talk to each other and treat each other in our council meetings. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilwoman. I'm going to take a point of personal privilege here. I deal with this question that was asked every single day on national TV, multiple times a day, 6 days a week. This is an important question, and I hope that everybody in attendance and everybody listening took something from what they just heard. It doesn't, and this question, this challenge doesn't end with your campaigns. Not everyone will win, but I challenge you each to continue to try and lower the temperature in your communities. With that being said, I will move on to this next question. Protests and public order. Where do you personally draw the line between a citizen's protected right to protest and an act that disrupts public order? For example, how should the city respond if protesters block a major intersection during rush hour? First, we will ask Mr. Vigil to respond.
All right, thank you. So I'd like to start by saying I totally support the right to peacefully protest in our country. If we're addressing acts of civil disobedience, I think we have to look at the root cause. Recently, we have seen some of these acts play out due to a dire need. For example, someone losing their family member due to a lack of due process in our legal system. With that said, I don't believe in lawlessness. However, I do believe we have to look at the full picture in these circumstances, not always jumping to conclusions, and truly gain an understanding of our constituents' needs and the reason why they're acting in a certain way. Thanks.
Thank you, sir. Ms. Vaughn.
I too believe in peaceful protesting. However, the residents here in Stone Mountain, I don't feel they fully engage in protesting, especially our elderly and our parents. We try to work with law enforcement. I believe all of the citizens try to work with law enforcement to not stop peaceful protests, but to be there to show their visual that they are here to serve Stone Mountain and they are there to protect the citizens here. And that's it. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Vaughn. Councilwoman Bryant.
Thank you. We have had several protests in Stone Mountain. And I do believe they have been peaceful, considering I'm have to give it up to our chief here in the city, where he made it peaceful and it was safe for us to be downtown, because you also want to bring your kids around to let them know this is what's going on here in the world. It's not just fighting anymore. It's not just shooting and cussing anymore. You are going to have people that's going to start walking, protesting about different issues that's happening in the city. So I do believe once you go ahead and get a conversation, have a conversation with the city chief, and he'll make sure that it is, and what it is would be a very peaceful and turnout during that time. So that's about all I have to say on that subject at this time.
Thank you, Councilwoman. Ms. Pennell Prusing.
I also fully support the right to peaceful protest, but safety also needs to be considered for everyone involved, whether it's the protesters themselves or bystanders that just happen to be in the area shopping at a local store or walking down the sidewalk. I would really like to see the city work with the organizers to avoid disruption and do their best to keep it peaceful, to make sure that everybody can have their voices heard while nobody gets hurt. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Mr. Monroe.
I was present on several occasions when Stone Mountain Park closed the park because they were concerned about unpeaceful demonstrating inside the park. Unfortunately, at that time, the protesters who were going to the park spilled over into the city streets, and it became a real situation. We had National Guard standing by just in case. We had police standing by just in case. They roped off the area. There was tear gas used. It was not a pleasant sight. Today, we have an opportunity to work with the city and the park police, where they will not close off the park to legitimate protests, but keep it contained in the park, and we'll divide up the area leading to the park where the city police have jurisdiction, and will escort the protesters into the park, and then the park police will take over. That's the way to handle something like that, where people get to express themselves peacefully, and the police make sure that public safety is maintained.
Thank you, Mr. Monroe. Councilman Henshaw.
Thank you. There are federal and state laws in place that we as a city are required to follow. Local council policy cannot overrule state and federal laws and regulations, and our police department has their own internal policies that they follow based on state and federal standards. Additionally, city council members are not allowed to dictate police policy, as this can cause massive liability issues for the city and a council member as an individual. Furthermore, direct oversight of city departments is handled by the city manager and only the city manager. Overstepping this arrangement is a massive violation of ethical leadership. While we do live in politically charged times, ethical and level-headed decision-making needs to occur wherever possible. All that being said, I do personally believe that the First Amendment is the First Amendment for a reason. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilman. Councilman Simmons.
Thank you. As Councilmember Henshaw said, we're not allowed to be involved with police matters, but personally, I think it's back to respect. You have every right to protest, but when you start to affect the safety of others, then your actions need to be redirected so that the community as a whole is safe, which is if you're blocking an intersection, just move out of the intersection onto the public sidewalk and carry on with your protest. That is fine. Not in favor of excessive force, but please respect the request of law enforcement to not block the flow of traffic and not put citizens at risk. It's a two-way street, so please do it peacefully. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilman. Mr. Jordan.
Well, in 27 years of law enforcement, I've worn riot gear on a few occasions. I wish the general public could understand the police side of a protest line and understand and smell the tear gas if it came to that. But a citizen's right to free speech and protest is one of the things that makes America great. It is a protected right, but it has limitations. Laws are in place that restrict when, where, and how protests can take place. I believe that a fair and consistent enforcement of these laws is needed regardless of the views being expressed. Protesters do not have the right to obstruct roads, sidewalks, or destroy personal property. They don't have the right to make threats or cause violence. Law enforcement should warn protesters when needed and make arrests when lawful orders or laws are broken. Thank you.
Thank you so much. I want to congratulate everybody again on sticking to time. The Army Ranger veteran in me really appreciates that. And I'm pleased to announce that we are ahead of schedule. Moving on to our next topic, it's annexation. What is your governing philosophy on annexation? Do you believe a city should proactively seek but to annex unincorporated commercial and residential areas to fuel growth, or should a city focus exclusively on improving services within its existing borders? Please explain your stance. We will begin with Councilman Simmons.
Thank you. It's a good question. We actually in Doraville just we tried to annex two islands, so to say, inside our city boundary. One came and got annexed and one didn't, but I'm in favor of annexing, especially like a lot of incorporated areas want to be a part of a city. So I'm in favor of proactively seeking to annex unincorporated areas. We'll only want it done through ballot and by vote, just to make sure that they want to come in. When it gets to outside your boundary, trying to get more, I think you can annex properties outside your boundaries to help improve your services within, because it will bring in more tax dollars and more base to help you have better services. So I'm in favor of it.
Thank you, Councilman. Councilwoman Bryant.
Thank you. I am definitely in favor of annexing the incorporated. Listening to the citizens and they talk about their taxes have increased so much and they barely can continue to live in their homes. I do believe once we go ahead and annex some of the commercial properties, and there are some that would definitely take a burden off of the single family residents that's burdened by these tax dollars. Taxes went up a whole lot this year, a whole lot. And I hear that from the citizens. And I can only tell them things will get better. They will get better. So I am definitely in favor of annexing coming up in next year. I'm definitely in favor of that. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Councilwoman. Ms. Pennell Prusing.
Thank you. If the city looks like a piece of Swiss cheese, it doesn't really allow for the services to current residents to improve because we're having to work around those unincorporated areas. And of course, the residents should be allowed to vote on the annexation, especially when it involves where their homes are located. But I think annexation as a whole, as long as it's voted on, it should be allowed. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Mr. Monroe.
Right now, annexation, say south of the city and slightly to the west, actually makes sense, but it has to be voted on by the people to be annexed. I'm not going to force anyone into the city against their will. They have to want to come in. That being said, if they do desire to come in, we need to give them, in order to encourage them to come into the city, we need to give them a reason to come in the first place. Right now, people would like to see shops downtown that are currently boarded up, vacant, used for storage. We'd like to see them developed more, give the people a reason to come and spend their time and money in the city of Stone Mountain. But until you do that, we need to give the outsiders who would be annexed a reason to come in. And right now, if they look at our city government, they may not see the incentive, if we have the highest tax rate in the county, to come into the city to raise their taxes too, unless they can get some return on their investment. I'm a financial analyst. ROI is what I track. If they have good schools, they'll want to come into our city. If we have infrastructure that works, they'll want to come into our city. But until we have those things, we're not there yet. Why would they want to come in? We need to give them a reason of quality that they can see, and a city government that functions well before they'll desire to come into the city of Stone Mountain.
Thank you, Mr. Monroe. Ms. Vaughn.
Yes, I am in favor of annexing, but I believe annex shouldn't be rushed. It should be a citizen-led, transparent, and truly beneficial for everyone that's involved. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Mr. Vigil.
Thank you. All right, so for our specific city, I believe we need to look at our borders first before we look at annexation. I know there are many issues that need to be addressed in our status quo, and after those matters are reviewed, we could look at expansion. I think expansion could be good if it makes sense for all parties involved, which include our current residents and possible future residents. There's a lot of unincorporated area in our city, excuse me. And with that said, we need to make this kind of change attractive to all parties involved. And with our current need for business development, this would most likely be a very good prospect. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Vigil. Mr. Jordan.
In 2016, there was an annexation study done by the city. I recently reviewed this, which showed the areas to be considered for an annexation, which included residential and commercial properties. Many of these made sense, especially if you look at our city map and the gaps we have in our geography and how we skip over and surround some lots and neighborhoods. The cost of annexation and the benefits to our citizens and those to be annexed was included. It talked about the increased staff that would be required, especially what I noticed was the additional need of 10 to 12 police officers. Since 2016, a lot has changed. The city's being able to find police officers it's an extremely competitive to find good officers, to maintain them, and to pay them right. We also don't have a city manager at this time, but I believe we need to look at annexation as we clean up our own city. We need to do first things first. Doesn't mean we can't start the process again and look to where we need to annex, because we know that adding residents and commercial businesses is going to reduce our taxes. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Jordan. Councilman Henshaw.
Thank you. This is a question that needs 15 minutes to answer properly, but in 60 seconds. In Doraville specifically, we have pursued small annexations to incorporate the missing pocketed islands of DeKalb County, as Ms. Purnell-Prusing said, Swiss cheese. We successfully completed an annexation earlier this year, which has allowed us to complete the upper half of Doraville outside of 285. This annexation will allow us to raise up the quality of standards in these areas, which were already functioning as part of Doraville in many ways. We can now improve sidewalks and roads, police our neighborhood school, Oak Cliff Elementary, for speeders and other traffic violations, and tackle the very neglected stormwater infrastructure within that area. These measures will benefit the new Doraville residents there, as well as our original residents. We are directly putting our new tax dollars back into our newly annexed areas. Please note, we are a small city and will always remain as such, and did not pursue this annexation for growth, but instead to provide for more effective services for our immediate neighbors and residents. As our development partner likes to say, a rising tide raises all ships. and the tide is rising rapidly in Doraville. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilman. For candidates following along on the script of questions, I'm going to be making an executive decision and skipping over ethics reform question. I think many of you have already answered questions to do with that. And I'm going to tell you, just from having run for mayor, your constituents probably will be more interested in this next question about housing. So we'll be talking about that next. Housing. What is your stance on allowing denser housing options like accessory dwelling units, ADUs, or duplexes in traditionally single-family households to address our region's housing supply crisis? We will begin with Mr. Jordan.
Thank you. As I stated earlier, the tax burden on our citizens is high, and we need more residential housing that generates city revenue. But this needs to be done wisely, where we maintain character. And if Stone Mountain has anything, it is character and history. We're 1.6 square miles. We have vacant lots and only 2 or 3 small tracts of land over a couple acres where new houses or developments can even go. Any development of these tracts or lots needs to be just done wisely. Stone Mountain already has an ADU, auxiliary dwelling unit ordinance. I've read it. It seems reasonable. I agree with it. As far as duplexes and residential areas, I believe we should keep duplexes where duplexes already are, and let's build houses where houses are. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Jordan. Councilwoman Bryant.
Thank you so much. At this time, we could go ahead and start building single-family homes, but right now, our dollars doesn't speak that. We have quite a few, like I say, you have single-family homes that can barely go ahead and pay for where they are living now. Let's go ahead and do something with the downtown Stone Mountain. Let's see how we can go ahead and offset that instead of go ahead and increasing the tax dollars. And that's what's going to happen to the taxpayers if we go ahead and start building these new housing that they want to go ahead and do with the city. So right now I'm on hold with that building these new single family homes. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Councilwoman. Councilman Henshaw.
Thank you. As an architect, I love this question. Doraville recently passed an ADU ordinance to allow for the creation of accessory dwelling units to help tackle this exact issue. We are also currently looking at targeted rezonings along buffer roads, which would allow for increased housing density while simultaneously protecting our more traditional R1 neighborhoods. Doraville's council and planning staff are actively working to bring a variety of housing types to our city, hoping to tackle this issue in both traditional and non-traditional ways. Ultimately, unstable material costs, higher lending rates, and multiple other factors, all of which are outside of city control, will likely have a greater impact on our housing stock than any rezonings we undertake. But we are tackling this challenge head on and with an open mind. There's a lot of undeveloped and underdeveloped land within our city, and there are a variety of housing products which may help our existing and future residents. Tiny home communities, compact studio apartments, duplexes, townhouses, and more may all play a part in diversifying housing stock indoor. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilman. Ms. Pennell Prusing.
Thank you. I fully understand the lack of the middle housing. Everybody knows the housing supply crisis. And as long as it's where the zoning allows it and the lot size can accommodate it regarding the setbacks and buffers from the lower density areas, I believe they should be allowed. They allow seniors to age in place. They can still downsize and they can help give them additional income, but they also allow young families a different option other than apartments when they can't afford a house yet. So I fully support it. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Councilman Simmons.
Thank you. So, yeah, we currently passed ADUs in our code of ordinances, as well as rezoning areas of T4, which makes lots more dense. The only way to reduce housing costs and make affordable living attainable is you need to have more supply than demand. Given density bonuses is the start of doing this, as well as proper zoning, If you have the right equation between density bonuses and correct zoning, then developers will come in, build more supply than there is demand, which will bring down the cost of houses or townhomes or whatever you want to build. So here in Doraville, we're out of land. The only way we can add more housing for the most part is in the airspace. So I'm all in favor of density bonuses to help bring down the cost. It's a supply and demand issue.
Thank you, Councilman. Mr. Monroe.
Right now, we need a better mix of higher density housing in the city of Stone Mountain. This does not mean we have to put it on the lawn on Main Street, which should be used for entertainment venues. We could actually, as the city owns it, make money off of the deal. We could have all kinds of entertainment on that big 3.4 acres. However, in other areas of the city, we should have what we call infill housing. They're smaller lots, but they can be done if they're developed correctly in a way that enhances the neighborhoods all around them at the same time. We should look at smaller homes. We should look at manufactured homes. We should look at tiny homes, and we should look at the right kind of development based on the property.
Thank you, Mr. Monroe. Ms. Vaughn.
Yes. If we can build without changing the historical characteristic of this city, then increasing diversity housing types, I am for it. I'm for protecting the renters and the legacy homeowners, incentive affordability. We should always preserve the community ownership. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Vaughn. Mr. Vigil.
Thanks so much. So I'm in total support of being creative with addressing the needs of residents in our community. We have to be cognizant of the climate we're in. Inflation is on the rise, and statistical figures like Black unemployment, which falls on the highest demographic in the city of Stone Mountain, is at an all-time high since COVID. I believe we are really going to have to come together as a community to help our neighbors in ways that we may not have had to in the past in order to thrive and to combat crime. Because crime, a lot of the time, is committed as a result of basic needs not being met. Thank you.
Thank you very much. That concludes our audience questions. We will now be moving on to closing statements. You will each have 90 seconds to give a closing statement. We will begin with Mr. Monroe.
Thank you very much for hosting this. DeKalb Democrats have done a wonderful job in making government more sensible and accountable and more accessible. And I thank you for this opportunity. One of the reasons I decided to go back into government is that we really do need to take better care of our city finances and much better care of each other. The outer areas of the city have been neglected way too long, and we need to do more to build up either the sidewalks or the street lights and other amenities that make the city more livable. We have to connect our parks with a path and have a green belt that goes all the way from Atlanta right into the city of Stone Mountain, between the parks and also connecting to Stone Mountain Park. It's a great asset for our city, and we should utilize it for the best interest of our citizens.
Thank you, Mr. Monroe. Councilwoman Bryant.
Thank you so much for hosting this. First and foremost, I would like to go ahead and say, to help and restore our public trust and ensure ethical, transparent, and Stone Mountain, we have to be more involved in the community. Before I even started on council, I would have monthly meetings, and they was open up to anyone that would like to attend. Very productive meetings. I would invite the city staff. The public director will come out and they will go ahead and address any concerns that the citizens have. I would also invite the police department, and they would definitely come out and address any issues that they have, and as well as a code enforcer, which is a major part in our city. They also will come out and address whatever issues they will have. You have to be more involved in the community, which I have been. I've hosted for 7 years a back to school event where I provide book bags to the kids in the neighborhood, clear book bags per DeKalb County, along with the supplies inside, and that made a difference. Like I said, a lot of people are struggling at this time, and a lot of them said, they appreciate it. So thank you so much. I
Thank you.
appreciate it. All right.
Thank you, Councilwoman. Ms. Vaughn, your closing statement.
Yes, first I'd like to thank you, DeKalb Dem, for hosting this forum. Preserving our history matters. As I said in my opening statement, I have lived in Stone Mountain all my life. I am committed to protecting. I am also looking ahead to Stone Mountain future because I believe in building tomorrow block by block. This is the heart of my TLC vision: trustworthy leadership and commitment. This involves bringing the neighborhood and the community together. I hope that I can add to the city by helping to build a team that we can focus on a we team and not an I team. In every block, in every neighborhood, we are a small city with a big heart, and that heart is our village. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Vaughn. Mr. Jordan, your closing statement, please, sir.
Well, thank you, DeKalb Gens, for this opportunity. My name is Hubert Jordan, and I'm running for City Council Post 5. Protecting and serving isn't just my past, it's my promise to the citizens of my hometown, Stone Mountain. Over the course of my 27 years in local and federal law enforcement, I've worked for and with governments ranging in size from small town Georgia to county, state, federal, and even international governments. I know how effective government should work for its citizens. I want to serve our city by protecting your tax dollars, encouraging smart residential and business development, repair and replace our infrastructure, and ensure we have the best police force that our citizens deserve. I want to do all this while being fair-minded, transparent, and available to all citizens. Please vote for me on November 4th. Thank you, and God bless.
Thank you, Mr. Jordan. Councilman Simmons, your closing statement, please, sir.
Thank you. Just wanted to thank the DeKalb Dems for putting this on and everyone involved in helping to get this going. So, of course, my name is Warren Simmons, running for Dorville District 1, Post 3. Please come out and vote November 4th. If you're happy with the current city council here at Dorville, please vote incumbents. Also, wanted to mention while we're here on DeKalb, I brought the Healthy Pet Vaccine Clinic with Lifeline here to Dorville for the past 3 years, where we vaccinate cats, dogs, and anything in between for free. Rabies, vaccinations, free spay, neuter, all that stuff. It's happening 2026, March, April. Go to the Dorville Dispatcher newsletter to find out a time to come to Dorville in Assembly. It's at the Assembly. Please come there. You can get your animal vaccinated for free pet supplies, free everything. So please come 2026 in the spring and look at Dorville Dispatch to find the info. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilman. Councilman Henshaw, please make your closing statement.
I like to call Warren our Bob Barker. He's great. I'd like to thank the DeKalb Democrats and all the hosts of this event, as well as my fellow candidates. But I'd especially like to thank all of the people who are watching this forum live or in a recording later. I can't overstate the importance of local governance and the impact that voting can have on a small city like Dorville. We've had 2 recent elections that have been won by a margin of less than 25 votes. Your vote matters nationally and at the state level, but it really matters locally. Serving Dorville has been both a challenge and a pleasure over the past 6 years. I've helped tackle a number of very serious issues, like setting COVID-19 policy, and I've also helped drive growth of our city forward in very targeted ways. Along the way, I've helped pave roads, lower taxes, build new sidewalks, foster partnerships with private developers and neighboring cities. I also feel that I, along with the rest of the current council, have been good stewards of our city's resources and finances. The next 4 years are pivotal for Doraville, and I look forward to continuing along the great path we have set over the past 6 years. Thank you for your time, and don't hesitate to reach out to me with any questions you might have. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilman. Mr. Vigil, please make your closing statement, sir.
Many thanks to the DeKalb Dems, which includes Hillary, Robin, Leona, and everyone else behind the scenes that helped with hosting the forum on this platform. Again, I'm Cordero Vigil for Stone Mountain Post number 6. I'd like to close with a couple of reasons I've been inspired to run for office for the first time. I've been asked multiple times by residents, why are you running and what qualifies you for this job? I'm seeking a seat because I'm a concerned resident, not a career politician, and I recognize a need that our city has to move forward. As far as my qualifications, yes, I've worked in banking a long time, I've been able to lead teams, I've worked in my community and so forth. However, I, most importantly, want to serve the community I love to help it move forward in such a pivotal moment. I'm hoping that our residents will visit me on my website, which is corderoforstonemountain.com, to engage with me there or just when you see me in passing. And please remember, I'm not looking to take your vote, I'm looking to earn it. Thank you for spending some time with us this evening, and have a great evening.
Thank you, sir. Ms. Pennell Prusing, please make your closing statement.
All right. First, thank you to everyone at DeKalb Dems for their work on putting this together, and to our moderator, Robin Barrow. We appreciate having you. It's been an honor to be here tonight. I believe that Doraville is evolving, and while our city moves forward, we need to be careful about it to maintain the diverse characteristics that make Doraville unique. And our strength is in our community and our neighbors, and we need to make a commitment to inclusive progress as we continue to evolve. I promise to work with residents, fellow council members, and city staff to continue to improve Doraville so that it can be the best it can be for everyone to enjoy. My name is Yvette Pennell Prusing, District 2, Post 1 candidate. Please make sure you vote on November 4th. If you have any questions at all, please feel free to reach out to me. My website is Yvette4Doraville.com. Thank you so much. Everybody have a great night.
Thank you very much. Now, they've given me about 2 minutes to sort of get on my own soapbox and make some statements of my own. I just want to say I'm so proud of each and every one of you. If you will please indulge me. Look, I want to tell you, I ran for mayor, was a close campaign, didn't cross that finish line. I ran for Senate, was a close campaign, didn't get there. It's tough work. We have people who've never run for office before on this panel. They did great. We've had people come out of retirement to run again. We have people that are currently running for re-election. It is tough work, but you all did so well. If you will please all indulge me in unmuting yourselves for just one moment, because we are all neighbors, and I want you to clap for yourselves and for your fellow candidates. You guys did great. I couldn't be more proud of you. Everybody, the voters, the electorate have some tough choices to make. I just want to share the best advice that I got was from our elder council person who was term limited and served his last term. And he told me that when I lost that race for mayor to, still stay involved. And one thing that was fun for me was to see, even though I didn't cross that finish line, some of the good ideas that I had were still adopted by our current mayor and by our senator. So, I hope each of you learned something from one another and that your ideas continue. Not everybody can win, but we all thank you for stepping up. And I couldn't be more proud. I did political candidate recruitment for about 7 years in Fulton County when I was political director. So this is near and dear to me. With that, I would like to hand it off to Larry Lowe. Thank you for inviting me to moderate.
Thank you, Robin. City council meetings are a vital part of local governance and are open to the public. We encourage everyone to attend their local meetings to stay informed and make their voices heard. You can find schedules, agendas, and information on how to participate on your city's official website. Please look in the chat for the links to the city websites of Avondale Estates, Doraville, and Stone Mountain. Thanks to everyone for being here tonight. Before we close, here are a few final thoughts from Hillary Lind, our special events chair.
Thank you so much, Mr. Vice Chair. Again, to the candidates, thank you all, and our Army of Volunteers, thank you for helping us put this forum together. On behalf of our team, we again want to thank the candidates and everyone who joined us in the audience tonight. An event like this requires plenty of volunteers, and I want to personally thank each and every one of them. Our moderator, Robin, our DeKalb Dems Chair, Brandy Weiss, our Vice Chair, Larry Lowe, and our incredible production team, Zoom operator, Amy Farrow, and our technical support, Dr. Bola, and our timekeeper, Miss Leona Perry. I also want to extend a special heartfelt thank you to Gloria Moore. Gloria's strategic guidance was absolutely essential in bringing tonight's forum to life. While we are volunteers who present events like this to inform our citizens, we do have expenses and ask for your financial support. Please consider a small amount or a monthly recurring donation to power Democratic wins here in DeKalb. Please check your voter registration to make sure it is up to date and make note of these important dates for the upcoming municipal election. Monday, October 6th is the deadline to register to vote. Early voting is held between October 14th and October 31st. Election Day is Tuesday, November 4th, and if it's a runoff, that election will be held on Tuesday, December 2nd. A recording of this forum is available for viewing and shared on our YouTube channel, as well as a webinar recently presented on why local elections matter. These are in the chat. Please visit DeKalbDems.com to discover ways to engage in activities right here in DeKalb County. We are building our communities and encourage each and every one of you to connect with your local events and calls to action that affect your neighbors. Finally, it was a pleasure for DeKalb Dems to present this information to you tonight, and we wish each and every one of the candidates a very successful campaign. Thanks for joining us, and we wish you a great evening. Good night, everyone.
Good luck.